In a small riverside town, there stood a narrow stone bridge that most people crossed without thinking. It had no grand arches, no iron rails curling like vines, no postcards made in its honor. It was simply there, sturdy, ordinary, reliable. People hurried over it toward work, markets, and trains. They never knew the bridge had a memory for footsteps. In the apartment above the tailor shop, Mira pressed a note into her pocket. Resignation, it read in small, honest letters. 3 years earlier, she had taken a job at the clinic across the river. The first steady work after caring for her mother through a long illness. Back then she had been sure of her strength. Lately she felt like a cracked cup able to hold only a little before spilling. Every morning she crossed the stone bridge, and every morning she told herself, one more day. Today she planned to end that refrain. Halfway across she stopped. The river moved slow beneath her, brown with last night's rain, carrying twigs and a lone orange leaf. She imagined dropping the envelope and watching it float away, then imagined handing it to her supervisor's gentle hands. Neither picture felt right. She gripped the note and tried to breathe. "Excuse me," a voice said. Mira turned. A teen stood a few steps away, backpack slung too low, breath fogging in the cool air. His eyes were red. He held out a phone, the Maps app open like a confession. "I'm late," he said. "Entrance exams." They moved the test hall and... "I'm lost." Mira glanced at the screen. The new campus was across the bridge, then 2 lefts and a climb. "I'm going that way," she said. "Walk with me." They moved together, passing a florist arranging buckets on the curb. "You okay?" she asked. He shrugged. "My dad says pressure makes diamonds." "I think it just makes me feel small." Mira smiled without laughing. "Pressure makes coal into diamonds," she said, "but only when it belongs underground. Up here, pressure just needs a hand to carry it." They stepped off the bridge and turned left. He told her he liked physics but couldn't make the numbers behave when people were watching. She told him nerves were like birds. They don't vanish. They learn perches. At the second left, the hill lifted under their feet. The exam hall appeared, glass bright with morning. Mira pointed. "You're on time." He swallowed. "Thank you. Breathe like you're crossing a bridge," she said. "Not a battlefield." He nodded and ran. For a moment, Mira watched his shoulders straighten at the door. Then she looked at the envelope in her hand. The clinic lobby was quiet when she arrived. Miss Hale, the supervisor, was arranging a tray of forms. "Mira," she said, "you look like you stood in the wind and listened to it argue." "I brought this," Mira said, lifting the envelope. Miss Hale didn't reach for it. "Sit with me first." They sat. A clock sounded small between them. "You have been carrying more than this job," Miss Hale said. "We all see it, but you also steady the room. Yesterday, Mrs. Patel said your voice made her blood draw, feel like tea." That's a wild compliment. Mira felt the bridge underfoot again. Not stone, but steadiness. "I'm tired," she admitted. "I keep hearing the word enough, and I don't know if it means I've given enough or I've had enough." "Sometimes it means enough to pause," Miss Hale said. "I can cut your hours for a month. We'll bundle scraps of rest until it looks like a weekend." Mira thought of her mother's hands, small and certain even at the end. She thought of the boy's breath turning to fog, then to courage. She opened the envelope. The single word looked lonely. "Could we change resignation to recalibration?" she asked. Ms. Hale smiled. "We can change paper faster than we can change a person we need." She took the sheet, crossed out the title with a thin line and wrote in new letters, "Leave of gentleness." The day moved like careful music. Mira placed warm blankets, fixed a faulty blood pressure cuff, and convinced a widower that his new cane was an instrument, not a defeat. At lunch, she stood at the window. Across the river, the bridge carried people and afternoon light. She imagined it keeping a ledger not of names, but of moments when a person stepped on one end as one thing and stepped off the other as another. On her way home, she crossed again. The sky held a soft pewter color that made lights come on early. A woman paused with a stroller to tuck a blanket. A cyclist slowed for an older man. The river made a sound like a held breath being released. On the crest of the bridge, Mira met the boy again. He was running, jacket open, smile untidy. He skidded to a stop. "I did it," he said. "Not perfect enough." "Enough is a good word," Mira replied. He held out a folded sheet, a test ticket stamped with the word admitted. "I wanted to cross back this way," he said, "so the bridge could see." They stood a while, strangers threaded briefly by a piece of stone and a quiet river. Then they walked on, each toward a door that would open with the same small click. At night, Mira wrote a note and slid it into the drawer where she kept recipes and bus passes. It said, "When you feel like a cracked cup, pour slowly. Still a cup." She slept without dreams, which is sometimes the body's way of applauding. The bridge kept its memory for footsteps. It added two more. Moral of the story: courage isn't always loud. Often it's the quiet choice to pause, to help, or to try again, like crossing a simple bridge that turns doubt on one side into enough on the other.